Hi everyone, this is Mandy, and in this presentation, I will introduce my final proposal of Mapun. It is a foldable shipping container house. I separate them with 4 sections. First one is the preview situations in Mapun. Second one is my initial thinking and my final proposal, and the material thinking and model making. Mapun Aboriginal community is located at Port Marcus Reef and around 860 kilometers north of Cairns. As of 2016, the population of Mapun is 317. There are 2 seasons in North Australia. It's dry and wet seasons. In the dry seasons, there are sunny, mild, and dry. The features of the wet season must be some like monsoon rains, thunderstorm, occasional tropical cyclone, and hot humid weathers. For transportations, this is normal in the dry seasons, but the January time between Mapun to Wipa was 50 minutes. So during rainy seasons, Mapun routes will be long. This is the introduction of the cyclone Larry. This is a severe Category 5 tropical cyclone crossed the tropical North Queensland coast near Innisfail on the morning of 20th March 2006. There are some problems appearing after the cyclone Larry. Roughly 10,000 houses were damaged due to the cyclone and sequence flooding, including homes in Mapun. After the cyclone, television news report relayed some local problems. Because the government did not take actions in time, the victims were very angry, and some banana growers can only live in their car because they lose their home, and there are no power supply for 4 days in some region. Here is the initial thinking with my proposal. At the beginning, I want to make affordable containers and tightly sealed tent, but because these are too less feasible for my previous problem and consider the participatory, I changed my mind. Therefore, I combine the functions with the 2 to expand the use area and capacities of the shelter. The containers is changed to floating that can be put on both sides to increase the unusable area. Small household solar and wind power generator and water storage systems are set up on the floor. In order to ensure that my designs are persuasive, I checked the relevant container design, and it was so surprised that I found a relevant case. This one is a cute and compact shipping container house. It's designed for provide a refuge for researchers studying in the rainforest. And also this shipping container can withstand the Category 5 cyclone Larry. And also it was a very lower price. So I think it was a really persuasive for my following task. Here is the solutions benefit for my proposal. First one is to accommodate greater Aboriginal people and to meet their daily needs. And the space must be comfort, proper destructions, and protect privacy. It must be studied enough to protect them and do not destroy the local ecological environment. And the last one must also think it would be the most important one, to give psychological comfort to local people. This is my final proposal, the throwaway shipping container house in Mapun. In order to better adapt my design to the local Aboriginal, I involve my design into a house model. Therefore, during the development of Task 3, I add small space, toilet, and kitchens. My design is divided into use of 3 parts. The first part is the area mainly used for sleeping and daily activities, and the second part is the passage, connecting the daily activities area to toilet and kitchens. The third part is the new toilet and kitchen spaces. The roof design still accommodations with the original pan, and a simple rainwater filters has been set up to maintain the daily needs for the indigenous peoples and alleviate the filters of the water supplies the power systems caused by the community in a current rescue. The first part is the main daily use space I mentioned it. People can sleep in the open side space or use it as a living room space. The structured space on one side can accommodate at least 4 people, so total only 8 people can be used together. In an emergency, the living room space can also be used as a bedroom to accommodate more victims. This is the kitchen and toilet space. Due to the space limitation, I divide the toilet into 4 separate small spaces, 2 toilets and a bathing area and a hand washing area. The users only can need to open the curtain when using it. And the kitchen space is divided into 2 parts, one of cooking area and the other for dining area. In order to reduce the waste of the area, I set the dining table as a foldable dining table, and you also can look outside the sensories outside the window while dining. During 2 reality small space, the number of the people at each meal cannot exceed 4. Regarding the roof, I still set up solar power panels to provide daily electricity. Small wind turbines are used in climates when there is no sun. Before the cyclone comes, it must be warm with heavy waterproof tap and placed indoor so as if it is below over the damaged and tough structures of the container. Simple water filter have 3 layers. The first layer is to filter out the leaves and storm. The second layer is a charcoal used to absorb impurities in rainwater. And the third layer is the main simple dechlorination system. Finally, the filtered water is to store in the water tank. Considering that there will be a heavy rain and soil erosions after cyclone, and in the view of the previous successful example reminder, I use a steel frame as the bottom structures of the platform to place my container house, which can reduce the erosions of the bottom of the house by rainwater and provide a house for being washed away by a flood. As my calculation, at least 14 containers are required, and an ordinary Australia trunk has a length of 25 to 20 cm. The total length of my container's house is almost 8 meters. Therefore, a trunk can transport 3 containers house, and 40 trunks are required. Regarding trunk transportations, although there's no transportation infrastructures in Mapoon, according to WIPA transportations and dredging systems, there are 4 trunks companies that provide service for WIPA. The cargo service time is for April to June during the dry season. In the process of making the handmade model, I choose different types of the paper and compare their light transmittance, thickness, electricity, and load-bearing abilities. Regarding the model's windows, the paper I choose the large corrugated papers because of its soft light transmissions. Regarding the model of the containers' appearances and materials, I choose 3 kinds of the water to stick together. They are single-side corrugated paper, thin polyethylene board, and large corrugated paper represented windows. In the load-bearing test, we can clearly see from the pictures that the thin polyethylene board can have better load-bearing performance, and it is not easy to deform. Therefore, it serves as the main load-bearing materials as my model. The result of the buoyancy and waterproof test shows that tiny polyethylene board and corrugated paper have better waterproof and buoyancy performance. Therefore, to a certain extent, they can represent the real materials that can be waterproof in a life. After the material testing, there's my model making process. After considering the availability of materials, the scale of the model also needs to be standardized. Finally, my model was complete, and the scale is 1:20, and I used some tin paper to represent the solar power collection board, the entrance of the containers, the ring for the high platform. The expanded container space is only half made with a model because I just want to show one side of the space, and also the passage goes through the rest area of the public space. And this is the kitchen and bathrooms outside appearance. And the last one is the different view of my handmade modeling. This is my reference list. Thank you to your attention.